What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bullets Gotti. I want y'all to look at the shirt. You see what it said? First never follows. So, this video here, I'm going to discuss about Quad Studio. I've been wanting to do this video. I've been so sidetracked that I haven't been able to do this video. And, you know, it's the 30th anniversary of Quad Studios and what happened to Pac. And him being found guilty, you know, and coming out the hospital, you know, healing up from his wounds, you know, and then to go in the next year. A lot of people, when they talk about Pac and what he was going through a lot. You know, he was dealing with a sexual assault case he caught in 93 around Thanksgiving. He was dealing with a Hughes Brothers lawsuit, which at the time he was dealing with that case around the same time. So a lot of his funds got drained out during the Hughes Brothers case, right? So even during that time with his funds getting drained out during the Hughes Brothers case, Pac was in a, you know, pillar to post trying to make money. You know, he was filming Above the Rim at the time, and, you know, it came out, and he was basically trying to maneuver, just doing movies, doing, you know, records for people and all that. And what happened was, you know, Andre Harrell and him had went to dinner, and they had a conversation of doing New York Undercover, you know, and a lot of people think that he just went to do a studio session with Lil Sean. No, he went over there to do a song that was going to be on New York Undercover. And Andre Harrell was involved in that whole, you know, ordeal. And what happened that night, you know, before, you know, that whole infamous situation, he had went to Ron G's crib in the Polo Grounds. From there, he went to, you know, work his way up to Shaka Zulu. They used to be on 125, the weed spot. So he was at the Shaka Zulu weed spot during the time he was supposed to be at Quad Studios to do this record. Him, now what was allegedly, it was said that he said something to Jimmy Henchman on the phone, and, you know, it caused for the discipline. But what people don't understand, it was a bounty on the jury. You know, he said what he said about Jack in the interview, and the bounty was put on the jury. So the 90s general, who Dexter Isaac is a fucking liar. We're going to get that straight. He's a liar. He had nothing to do with Quad Studios. Gully TV continues to keep pushing dude. I don't understand why. The 90s general was the one that was involved in Quad Studio. The 90s general was the one that basically shot and disciplined Pac in the lobby, you know. And it was by the orders, allegedly they said, Jimmy Henchman. Some people say Haitian Jack ordered it. You know, I don't want to put it on Jimmy, you know, because Pac really never said. He said that Puff and everybody that was there need to speak up. But allegedly, I do believe that Jack had a lot to do with it, because the phone call was given to Jack. He even said it. You know, the 90s general called Jack. The 90s general was the one that had the jury, which they only had the bracelet. They never had the Rolex. They never had his chain. They never took the Rollie. They never took the chain. All they took was the bracelet. Everything else they never took. They took the bracelet. That's why when people say, yo, Pac even said it, niggas never took the Rollie. They took the bracelet. They didn't even take the chain. They just took the bracelet. So when people say, yo, they robbed Pac, yo, they robbed Pac, they took his chain, they took his bracelet, you know? So fast forward to 95. But I want to go back to Quad Studios before I fast forward to 95. So, you know, when Pac got there at Quad, you know, he had his guards up. He already had, like, allegedly they said he was on the phone, you know, and had an argument with Jimmy on the phone. And it's not alleged because it's already been proven he had an argument with Jimmy on the phone. So his conversation that he said, what he said on the phone, and he went up, he had his guards up, he was on point, and then he saw Lil C's. Lil C's was out there with Nino smoking and blowing it down. They was blowing it down on the balcony. He saw Pac. He said, yo, Pac. He's screaming out. Pac seen him. Pac said, yo, I'm going upstairs. Yo, I'm going to see you when you get down. I'm going to come down and meet you. So by that time, homie that's deceased, from the east, was smoking a cigarette outside. The 90s general was in there, in the building, reading the newspaper, right? And then son from Marcy that's deceased backed them niggas down. He was the third man. He backed them down. When they backed them down, that's when they told him, yo, y'all niggas get on the da-da-da-da-da for this and that. Y'all know what this is. You know what I'm saying? Now, Zayd already broke down the story. They backed them down. They say, yo, y'all niggas get on the ground. Da-da-da-da-da. He got them on the ground. They back them down. They gave up the, you know, it is what it is, like Pac said. Pac was resisting. He wasn't giving up the rollie. He wasn't giving up his chain. And he damn sure wasn't giving up nothing. So he was resisting. Like Son said, they yelled out gun. Next thing you know, shots fired. Boom, 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 boom. Nichols, you know, chases the three of them dudes. You know, because he got shot too, he lost a lot of blood. He was losing blood. He collapsed. By him collapsing, Pac and them, they going out trying to see what happened. You know what I'm saying? And the police knew what happened. Everybody knew what happened. They back him down at Quad Studios. And the funny thing about this, right? The 90s general basically knew what was going to happen. Because they had to play by play. Smooth. The 90s general didn't have no Dexter Isaac waiting for him and his comrades. Him and his comrades, they flee the scene, they got up out of there. Dexter Isaac had nothing to do with that. The 90s general robbed Dexter Isaac. The same 90s general robbed TT and had an argument with TT at the Q Club. Yeah, we're going to get to that too. So, the 90s general, you know, because we're going to say the 90s general, Little Sean co-defendant. He basically did what he did to Pac because his mans felt violated, right? Because his mans was called a hang-on. And he basically violated his means. And they had to discipline him because the jury was a bounty. Now, mind you, Pac didn't know what happened. He didn't know who did what they did to him. So when he was locked up in jail, the word got to him that, yo, the kid Tut fucking with Puff. Yo, you know he did that to you. But Tut had nothing to do with it. Shout out to King Tut. Welcome home. I'll be waiting for you to tell your story. You said when you get to 20,000 subs, you're going to tell the full story. I want to hear that. But a lot of pieces is getting pulled out there. You're going to see. A lot of people going to see. But Tut that went up there, the bad boy, and like the story was said that he was, getting into the music game. And he was, working with Bad Boy. And Puff gave him a book, the same book that you heard, shout out to JFK Fetty, talked about in the interview that he did with Tut, where he spoke about the book. So, Tut, in the jail system, they was telling Pop, yo, that's Tut that did that to you. Yeah, you don't know? That's Biggie homeboy. He the one that did that to you. He the one that had you disciplined in jail. And, he the one that had you disciplined at Quad Studio, I mean. He the one that was behind that. He did that. That was his work. Your reputation be sometimes your downfall. So Pac, not knowing, you know what I'm saying? Because Pac moved with a lot of real official New York dudes. He had love for Preem. He had love for Big D. Eric B. Chaz. And, a lot of dudes, A lot of people say he was running with Haitian Jack. Let me tell y'all this real clear. Pac was running more with T Black than Haitian Jack. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, you might have seen him go out with Jack, the nightlife, but he was running a lot with T Black more. That's who he really was running with. I want to see if people could get that interview with T Black, because he could tell you a little bit more. But that's who he was really running with. Heavy. So, Pac, and Ricky Lee. Don't forget Ricky Lee, because he was running with Ricky Lee too. But T Black was who he was running with heavy. But, Pac, when he, got shot, he didn't know where it was coming from. He was paranoid. He didn't know where it was coming from. He's sitting there in jail. He hearing this song, Who Side Your Dudes telling him, yo, Tut did that. Tut up there, Bad Boy. He running with Puff and them. Puff paid him to do that to you. Now, knowing that wasn't true. But in jail, word get to the streets. And a lot of times, dudes tell dudes rumors and lies. They don't tell them 99% the truth. So Pac was just going off of he said, she said, because he didn't know. Later on, Pac knew who sent it. That's why he directed it at Jack. But early he thought it was Puff and Biggie that was behind that, which it wasn't. Puff and Big had nothing to do with Quad Studios. And when it came to the part of like Pac saying what he said, Pac, did what he did, said what he said. And he stood on that. But let's fast forward a little bit. So when Tut got arrested, if y'all read the book Snitch by Ethan Brown, the feds and the police wanted him to tell on Puff, yo, tell us what you know. Did Puff hire you to do this? Did Puff do this? And he didn't have anything, right? Because he didn't have no information to give them. But that's how thirsty they was to get this man sent up, because you got a lot of William O'Neal niggas, and you got to remember the Panthers dealt with this type of situation with William O'Neal and the Black P Stones. So Jack was a William O'Neal type of dude. You know, he is William O'Neal. I don't care what nobody say. You know, the cop came out there and confirmed everything. You know, when Pac knew about the snitching thing, his lawyer told him, but it was supposed to hold it down. You know, Pac went and just said what he said, but at the time, when his lawyer gave him the information about Jack, you know, how Jack was getting, you know, cases dismissed, you know what I'm saying? And he would get charged and then it'd get dismissed. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that, you know, had Pac feeling the type of way. So fast forward, this dude, Dexter Isaac, comes out 2005, 2006, said, yeah, I was hired to do this to Tupac. Out of nowhere, dude came out, right? And said, yeah, Jimmy Henchman hired me to do this, right? Now, Henchman and Jack had a beef, right? You heard what Pac said. Promised to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time. I know you bitch niggas is listening. The world is mine. He was talking about Jack, because Jack and Henchman had issues. So Jack and Henchman was going back and forth, to the point that Henchman in the Vibe magazine called Jack a snitch, said Jack was the one that set him up in North Carolina in 96, got him locked up. And he was saying all of this. Now, this is way before Bill Courtney said that Jack is the reason why they got the information and got the number for World, which we already knew this. This was long ago nonsense that's been said, right? So Dexter Isaac said, yeah, I was there. And then Gully TV interviews Jack. And when Gully interviews Jack and Gully does the interview, he says this and that. But before that, Jack was on the Biggie versus Tupac documentary, saying that he got the call after the robbery. And then from there, you get the whole thing with him on Gully TV saying certain things. Pac idolized them and all that. You know, a lot of people don't understand. Pac was running with all the street dudes in New York. You know, from Pistol Pete, Percy, Gangsta Lou, Tone Capone, Preem, Big D, you know, you name them, T Black, E Money Bags, you name them. All of the street dudes from New York, Pac had ties to. And he was running with them. You know, so when they said that Pac was idolizing Jack and all that, you know, Above the Rim, if you ever watched that movie, that was loosely based on, you know, the character that Pac was playing was kind of a unique Peter Shue type of character. You know, because if you watch the Rucker, who had teams back then, you know, Jack and them didn't deal in that lane. But when he did the movie Bullet, that was low-key T Black. You could say Jack, but it was loosely, I would say T Black. Yeah, I feel like that character was based on. So when Pac, you know, at the time, you know, he was mad, you know, and then you get the false rumors that they put out there, because it was street dudes that lied and told Wendy. You know, the dude that Wendy was dealing with before, Kevin Hunter, told Wendy, yeah, Pac got sexually assaulted on up north. First they said it was on the island, then they said no, he got sexually assaulted up north, and that never happened to him. Not on the island, and not up north. That was a lie. That was a lie. You know, everybody will tell you that was a lie. Pac never got assaulted in jail. Never. He had issues with the guards, you know, when he was up north, but he never got sexually assaulted. He was locked up with Joey Farmer, who had that was involved in the Yusuf Hawkins killing. You know, he was locked up with Kool-Aid. Shout out to Kool-Aid from Bush and Webb crew. You know, so he was locked up with a lot of people. Charlie Rock, LD, and everybody will tell you, Pac was living good. Pac was in general population from when he got the Clinton to almost September of '95. He was in the population. So where was all this? He got touched in jail. You know what I'm saying? But they come with all this nonsense. You know, and it was street dudes that held Pac down. You know what I'm saying? And he got love from the Nietas, the Rat Hunters, the Latin Kings. You know what I'm saying? They showed him love. Especially the brothers. They all showed him love from all sides. You know what I'm saying? But everybody say, oh, Pac got touched up. Pac got touched up. When you hearing dudes telling you he did not get touched up in jail. Freddie Fox had Rap holding him down. Made the call to Rap. A lot of people don't know that. Fat Joe made the call to the Rat Hunters, which was Charlie Rock, when him and Charlie Rock was still cool. And he made sure Pac was good. So Pac didn't have no problems. Now, to go back with all this Dexter Isaac talk, Dexter Isaac had nothing to do with that. Dexter Isaac wasn't even involved in that. He wasn't there. He had nothing to do with that. That wasn't his work. That was the 90s general work. The 90s general has been locked up since, is still doing time. He's been in Otisville now. You know what I'm saying? They trying to work on getting him home, but he's been in Otisville for a couple years now. You know what I'm saying? And he was the one that did that to Pac. He was the one that pistol whipped Pac. He the one that took the bracelet and gave the bracelet to Nut. Okay? It was never no Isaac, Dexter Isaac, none of them dudes that you keep trying to say had something to do with that. How can a dude that was known from getting robbed and extorted by these dudes talk about he did that to Pac? He didn't do that to Pac. You know what I'm saying? And what happened to Pac? And Pac went out like a gangster because Pac stood on his tools. He stood on his ones and twos. He stood like a G, like a man. He didn't bitch. He didn't cower up. He wasn't letting them take his jewelry. You know, he did what a real nigga was supposed to do. The thing is that the gun, it was nothing he could do. You know what I'm saying? Because when the shots popped off, you know what I'm saying, he got shot. You know, and he didn't mean to hit himself. You know what I'm saying? But what people understand, he shot himself by an accident. He shot himself in the leg. They said, yo, he blew his balls off. He ain't blew his balls off. He shot himself in the leg. You know what I'm saying? But he was shot in the head. He was pistol whipped. You know what I'm saying? He had 5 bullets in him. So it's not like, oh, he shot himself and he shot himself one time. The majority of that, he got pistol whipped and got hit in the head. You know what I'm saying? The doctors even said that. You know what I'm saying? So when Pac went off in the tirade like he did, it was like, yo, dudes did me dirty. I'm for my people. I'm for black people. Why would another black man would try to do me like that when I'm speaking to the brothers in the hood? I'm speaking to the brothers in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? But what people didn't understand was it was what he said. And what he said was it offended old boy. Jack felt offended at what he said. But what he said was the truth. You know what I'm saying? Son wasn't right. Son set him up with the shorty. Sunset wasn't right. A lot of people say, yo, Bullets, come on, man. But son wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? And Pac felt like son wasn't right because he felt that he had a rapport with son. And that they left me high and dry with all these guns. They left me high and dry with all this artillery in my room. And then you got Shorty saying that I did this to her and I ain't did nothing to her. All I did was go to the bed and take a nap. And then Shorty just starts screaming, talking about, I took her this. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way Pac felt. Like, yo, y'all niggas did me dirty. And then you run around talking this. And it's like, you know, this wasn't the time. People got to understand, like, look at what Mark Curry said. You know, he tried the same thing with Puff. So to do that with Pac and then to try to do the same thing with Puff, bring the girls through to the spot and then try to line them up the same way. You know what I'm saying? So Jack was known for setting dudes up. He was a grimy dude and he started the whole East-West beef. Like William O'Neal started the whole beef with the Black P. Stones and the Panthers in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? See, what people got to realize is this, man, is that the streets don't love nobody. But when you really look at this whole situation, what happened to Tupac, everything Pac was saying, he wasn't tripping. He was speaking the truth. Dudes set him up to get him wet up. You know what I'm saying? You go into the studio thinking you about to do a record. You not thinking your guards is down. You see your peoples. You not thinking that dudes is downstairs got the drop on you. They had the drop on them because they already knew where I was going to hit, what it was hitting for. You know? And what it was hitting for was the run down, do what it do. You know? And Pac was on some, I'm not letting y'all dudes jack me. I'm not letting y'all dudes do me filthy. I'm going out like a G. And dudes didn't understand that, why he felt that he had to carry the way he carried it. But he had to carry it the way he had to carry it. Because, yo, y'all not going to extort me and y'all not going to rob me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why back in them days, you know, everybody had crews. You know what I'm saying? And what people don't realize is that dudes was ready to ride. Big Nose Troy and E Moneybags was ready to ride. Nichols and them wanted blood for what happened at Quad Studios. They wanted blood, bro. It was a violation. And they was out for blood. Because they came in on the intentions of recording some music and getting a bag. They didn't come in for the beef and for the smoke. But dudes came in for one thing, and that thing was to get the bracelet that they already had stolen before. Because what people don't understand is that wasn't the first time that bracelet was taken. That's why Lil Sean need to tell the whole story. How did that bracelet get the Pac? See, that bracelet got gifted to Pac because that bracelet was previously taken from Richie Rich, DJ Rich Nice, Richie Rich actually, from Third Base. You know, the 90s General took that bracelet from him. And from there, they gave the bracelet to Jack. Jack gave the bracelet to Pac. They came in to get the bracelet. And they was going to do the same thing that they did to Richie Rich. But Pac wasn't going like Richie Rich. He wasn't going out like that. They wasn't going to take that break. They wasn't going to take it from him. He stood on his principles as a motherfucking man. And he backed that thing out. But, you know, the way he just didn't have the room and the leverage to do what he did because it happened so fast. And because it happened so fast and he got shot, you know, and he got hit, that's why it didn't go the way he wanted it to go. But if it didn't happen like it happened, Pac would have been able to move around up out of there. And he would have never got shot. And we would have never heard about this. Yeah, he would have did some time. You know what I'm saying? Because now you just shot somebody. You know? But it was self-defense at the end of the day. Because he wasn't going out like a punk. So what happened, like I said, what happened in Quad Studios was like this. They wanted to humble him, to make him understand that, yo, this is what it is. And they felt like he was getting too big for his bridges, for what he said. But Pac wasn't big for his bridges. Pac was speaking his truth. And as a motherfucking man, he wasn't going to allow no niggas to play him. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't going to allow nobody because he wasn't in fear. When you don't have fear and you don't fear nothing and you fearless, niggas fear that. And Pac was a fearless dude. And that's why when Quad happened, you know what I'm saying? It should have never went down like that. So when Pac was saying all what he was saying and dudes would say, yo, that nigga Pac bugging, he tripping. No, he wasn't tripping. Because he felt like dudes should have let him know. But dudes didn't know. They didn't know. Because if they would have known, it would have never went out like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and a lot of times people don't understand is that the situation with Puff and Big and Pac, this shit was going to be squashed. You know what I'm saying? There was going to be, before, you know, Pac passed, there was going to be a sit down between Suge, Puff, Pac, and Big. Chaz was going to put that together with Eric B, Big D, because they all was in the same circle. Everybody was affiliated with everybody. So it was going to be put to rest. But the situation happened in Vegas. The situation happened in LA. And it never chanced, the chances of that never happened. But imagine if it did happen. You know what I'm saying? Brothers would have still been here and brothers would have not lost their lives. But this all was orchestrated by an informant and the federal government. They didn't want to see black brothers come together and be successful in this rap shit. They wanted to make sure that it was what it was. And that's why when you look at what Drake is doing, I salute Drake on that. Everybody saying, yo, Drake corny for that. No, Drake ain't corny for that. Drake seeing that, yo, they profiting off of us beefing. That should not be. And with Pac, and what happened with Pac, it was that dudes was profiting off of, you know, a situation that caused brothers to lose their lives at a young age. You know what I'm saying? These was friends. These was dudes that worked and did music together. You know what I'm saying? To be lined up at a studio just to go do a record. Just to do a record, yo. And to be lined up. Not knowing you gonna be lined up. That's the fucked up part about it. Not knowing you gonna be lined up. You going to the studio not thinking that, yo, these niggas got something for me. And they had something for him. And he just didn't know that they had something waiting for him. You know? So when you listen to the people like the murder raps and all that, they don't know what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? When it come to Pac and how he went out, man was a soldier. Snakes is snakes. They smile in your face, but they really deep down inside, they envy you. And what happened to him in Vegas was the same bullshit. Snakes wanted him out the way. He fired, you know, the dude, David Kenner and Reggie Wright. And I'm going to get into that. But what happened and what dudes need to stop listening to people like Gully TV that keep saying Dexter Isaac. Stop listening to Vlad talking about King Tut shot Pac. He never shot Pac. He wasn't even there. He had nothing to do with that. That was the 90s general. Jack and Tut was not like that at all. Dexter Isaac is a liar. That man got pistol whipped and beat down in his crib in Raw by the same niggas that went at Pac in Vanderveer with his baby mother Nikki D in the room. They pistol whipped him. 90s general was doing that to niggas. He was known for taking rollies and taking bracelets and yapping niggas for their jewels. That was his specialty. And he was with the gun business. So the 90s general was involved in that situation. It had nothing to do with Dexter Isaac. Had nothing to do with King Tut. And all this talking about Pac got assaulted in jail. He never got assaulted in jail. That's cap. That's another lie. It's another lie. He was in jail, living, and ain't none of that happened. But hey, people want to shit on a man that was a real one for his people. R.I.P. to Tupac and Amari Shakur. And like I said, man, the real ones, the real culprits that did what they did to him, they live in their life. And they protected by the government. Reggie Wright, Haitian Jack, they protected by the government. Remember that. But hey, it is what it is, man. Salute.